Hey friends, today is going to be a little bit of a different video. Thank you so much for stopping by, whether you're new here or you're a returning subscriber. I truly appreciate you, and I'm really glad you clicked on this video because I have something very important to talk about today. You obviously saw the thumbnail on the title of this video, so I am talking about how budgeting has literally changed my life, and I'm just going to get right into it. I am not exaggerating at all, not even a tiny, teeny bit, when I say my life has completely changed for the better after discovering the cash envelope system and zero-based budgeting. Okay, so I started my journey in September of 2022, and I just realized yesterday that I'm about 6 months in now. And I was just really reflecting on all the progress that I've made, and spoiler alert, I am doing amazing things, okay? I may not have, a huge chunk of money in the bank or anything like that, but what I can say is that I am paying down debt, I am saving money, and I have almost a complete mindset shift just from using this method. It's nothing, how do I want to say this? The mindset shift just kind of came on its own while doing everything else, okay? I obviously still have things to work on, but I am just so proud of myself, to be honest. I really am. I am, like I said, I'm changed for the better. And what do I mean by this? I know I have talked about it a little bit here and there in some of my videos, but prior to September, I was not a saver. I am a spender. I am a person that if I see something I want, I'm going to get it now. I'm not going to save up for it. I'm going to put it on a credit card or do whatever I have to do to get it because I just want that thing and I can't wait. Okay? I like instant gratification. And obviously you can imagine that that has landed me in a lot of debt, right? So, because of my debt, basically I was living paycheck to paycheck, okay? My husband and I have separate bank accounts, which I am 1,000% fine with. It works for us. We each pay our half of the bills and everything like that. So, my debt is my own. I don't want him, taking on my debt or anything like that. It's my fault that I am in this mess, and so it's my responsibility to get out of it. So because I was in so much debt, I was living paycheck to paycheck because I had to afford all my minimum payments for all these credit cards and everything else. Now, I will say I was not nearly in a situation, I wasn't hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt or anything like that. And I say that with one caveat. I do have student loan debt, quite a bit. I want to say around 50 or 55,000. And we do have a car that we financed, and I owe about 21, let's just say 22,000 on that. So yeah, that's $75,000 worth of debt right there. I'm kind of excluding that for now because that's debt that I kind of will always have. Even though granted, I could pay off my student loans, I could pay off a car, but my consumer debt as far as credit cards and things like that is much more important to me to get paid down. It's also, much higher interest and things like that. So I definitely have that debt, but right now I'm focusing on, the smaller debts that I can control. So, I was not in, a situation where I had 100,000 or anything like that, dollars worth of debt for credit cards, but it was still bad, right? debt is bad debt, okay? So, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I would afford all my minimum payments and my bills were paid. I was also never in a situation where I was behind on bills or anything like that. So, I'm grateful for that. But because of that, I couldn't save. And also, I couldn't save because I just spent money stupidly, okay? I was just stupid. I spent money on things that I didn't need, just, we all know kind of how that goes, I think. So not only was I, living paycheck to paycheck because I had all these debts, but also I was still spending any extra money that I had and wasn't really saving anything. Okay. So that was before I started this. So I was on vacation last August with my family, and I came across a Facebook group called Cash Envelope Stuffing. I have no idea how I came across it, but I did. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, that's weird. So I immediately, as I do with all new things I want to learn, I went to YouTube and typed in cash envelope stuffing, and literally, like, it was just a complete breakthrough for me. I believe the first channel I discovered was Celisa from Beautifully Me and You, and then I also discovered Baddies and Budgets, Jasmine. So those were the two channels that really kind of taught me about cash envelope stuffing, what it was, how it works, all that, zero-based budgeting and everything. And as I started to watch these videos, I thought to myself, I really want to try this because I think I could do this. Okay? And here I am 6 months later telling you that this has been a literal life changer for me. So if you're watching this and you have not started yet, but you're maybe on the fence, you're thinking about trying it, you're not sure if it's going to work, please, please, please try it. If you're in a situation that, like I was, where you're in debt up to your eyeballs, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you really need to, hunker down and start saving some money, just please try this method. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. You, by no means do you need to spend any money to get fancy binders like this or anything. You can use a box of envelopes from the dollar store, which is what I started with. If you go back to my first few videos from September, October, you'll see I used a box of plain envelopes from the dollar store, and I also created this binder for myself this was a binder that I've had for years. I just took out the guts, and I made these envelopes out of scrap paper that I already had, and I laminated them because I already had a laminator. So I spent no money to make this. I still use this binder today. Yeah, the envelopes are kind of falling apart, but it works just fine. There's no issue. So I still use this because it works fine, okay? So you don't need to spend money to try this, especially if you're new to it and you think maybe it won't work. Don't go out and buy a bunch of nice binders just for things to look pretty. The point is not to spend money to save money. The point is to save money, okay? And get yourself out of debt. I really encourage you to try this. So let's talk about the progress that I have made. I don't want to make this a long video, but I think it might be. So let's just get into it. So 6 months ago, before I started, I had maybe, I don't even know the figure, maybe around $2,000 in savings. I did have a little bit of a savings account, but not, nothing in my bank account. As I said, it was paycheck to paycheck. So, I get paid on a Thursday. On Wednesday, the day before, I might have had $2 in my bank account, literally, just waiting for that next check. So that's where it was 6 months ago. As of today is Sunday, February 26th. I have now $4,200 in my high yield savings account. So this is in addition to the $2,000 that I had in sort of my regular savings account, but I will say that's now dwindled all the way down to like $300 because of my spending habits and things that I still need to work on, which I'm going to talk about. So I have $4,200 in a high yield savings account. I was able to save all of that in 6 months. I paid off a bunch of debt, and I'm going to show you right now. So these are the credit cards that I started with. Okay. I had a JCPenney credit card, a Carter's credit card, a Dick's credit card, a Best Buy credit card, and a Verizon credit card. Okay. The balance on my JCPenney card was $119.81. And I believe it was actually up around $200. These numbers are from October when I actually wrote them down. So, you know, they could have been a little higher or a little lower at whatever point, but these are the balances I'm going with. So JCPenney was $119.81. My Carter's credit card was $134.61. And I do want to say, and I said this in a previous video, these are pretty low balances, right? You could, you know, a lot of people could just pay those off in one payment and bam, have them gone. But previously, I would have paid, you know, the minimum payment or maybe $5-10 more, $20-30 a month. And still it would have taken me 6-7 months to pay these off, even with the balances as low as they are. Okay. Because we know interest is super high. And if you're only making very small payments, you're not going to make that much progress. So even though these are small, this still would have taken me forever to pay off, you know, in my previous cycle, the way I was. Okay. My Dick's credit card balance was $1,209.38. And my Best Buy balance was $1,775.94. And that is down a little bit. It was a little over $2,000 when I started. This was a new Mac that I bought actually just for YouTube because my old one ran out of space. And I charged around $2,000. So it was a little higher, but these, as I said, are the balances as of October. Okay. So all of this, okay, all of this, boom. So in addition to having around $4,200 in savings, I paid off all of this debt. And the total here is $3,239.74. So if we just add 4,200 plus 3,239.74, that's $7,400, guys. Like $7,400 I was able to save up and pay off debt and put in a savings account in 6 months. In 6 months. That is insane. And as I said, that is not me, at least prior to this journey. So I am just astounded at the amount of progress that I've made. Now, I do have a little bit of extra cash other than this floating around. Some of my binders do have real cash in them. I do have a lot of it is prop money, but some of it is real cash because when I have extra spending money left over at the end of my 2 weeks, I use that for savings challenges. So, you know, there's definitely a few $100s probably in my savings challenges in addition to what is in my actual savings account. So that's just amazing progress. $3,200 paid off in debt and $4,200 in a savings account. And that is where I'm at 6 months in. Now, I will say I do still have a lot of work to do, okay? So I did say that I had a mindset shift. I didn't have 100% mindset shift, though. I still have some bad habits I need to break. And the main one, or probably really the only one, Well, no, there's probably two. So the first one is if I have money in my bank account, my checking account, I spend it. I don't know what it is about me. If I have money in there, I spend it. So for that reason, I keep a very, very small buffer. So when I do my paycheck budgets, I only leave around 20 extra bucks in there because I spend it all. A lot of people will leave a little bit larger of a buffer and then it adds up and adds up and adds up over time. I just can't do that. I don't know why. I don't have the discipline or whatever. It's something I'm working on. So that's one bad habit. And in addition to that, if I don't have enough money in my checking account, but I want something on, say, Amazon or whatever, I will just transfer from my savings into my checking account. Okay, and that is how the savings that I had when I started, which was around 2000, is now only down to about 300. One of the more recent things I have been doing is with my Etsy shop, I've been paying a lot of money for shipping, and that was coming out of my checking account, but because, again, I take almost every dollar out of there, I've been having to transfer from my savings quite frequently to cover the cost of shipping to ship my products out for my Etsy shop. I now have a solution to that. I was just being dumb. I was using Pirate Ship to ship everything, which is great and fine, but that money has to come out of my bank account. And I think I was using that just because we already had a Pirate Ship account. I knew how to use it, everything like that. But I am now using Etsy, and Etsy will just take the fees for shipping right out of your payment amount. So I was getting those big Etsy payouts, but really I had to subtract shipping out of them. So now my Etsy payouts are definitely going to be lower, but I'm not having to take any money out of my actual bank account to cover shipping fees, which is wonderful. Okay, so that's my one bad habit. My other bad habit, which I do admit, is if I go out somewhere to, Walmart, wherever, and I know I'm going to spend over a certain amount, I put it on a credit card. Okay. So my threshold's like 50, 60 bucks because I don't want to take that out of my cash. I put it on a card, and I know it's bad. I shouldn't, but I do. So again, I'm not perfect by any means. There are things that I am still working on, but I am very proud of the progress that I have made. So I have one credit card left, one credit card, okay? And it is my Verizon credit card. And the current balance is around $2,700. It's a little more, but I didn't look up the exact number, okay? I just made a good payment. I don't know exactly how much. It was a few hundred, I think. So my balance is $2,700. Now, this is the credit card that I still use if, like I said, I go to the store and I don't want to use cash or whatever. This credit card, I use this because I get points, and the points translate to cash off of my Verizon cell phone bill. So every few months I cash in my Verizon dollars, and I only have to pay around $30 for my cell phone bill, which works for me. I also do still use this for some bills. I have 2 bills, I think, that I automatically pay with the Verizon card, again, just to get the points and the cash back. But I allot for the bill amount in my budget, and then I just make that payment onto the Verizon card. So I'm still paying the bill with my paycheck. So that kind of cancels out. But it got up so high because, I would go to Walmart or whatever, spend $100 here, $100 there, and it adds up fast, and plus interest and all of that. This got up high as well because I did a balance transfer. So I had a balance on my Royal Caribbean credit card from booking our vacation. I had to put $1,000 down, and then I still had a balance on it from a previous vacation that actually didn't end up happening. Long story, but I had a little bit left over from that. But Verizon was offering me zero interest balance transfer, so I did that. So for a portion of this, there is zero interest, but I'm not exactly sure how it works as far as when I make payments, is that going towards the part with interest, the part without interest, half and half? I don't know. So anyway, I'm not too worried about it because I know that I'm going to be able to pay this off fairly quickly with the way that I am doing things now. Okay, so I am using the Snowball method, and my current Snowball payment is $205. My last credit card I just recently paid off was Best Buy. I added the minimum payment into my Snowball, so my Snowball is up to $205. So in addition to the regular monthly payment for Verizon, which is around $100, I'm going to be paying $205. So I'm going to be paying about $305 a month. Okay, so if I don't use this credit card, which I am working on it, I promise, okay, then I can get this balance down pretty low. But there's kind of always going to be a little bit of a balance because they put bills on there, but then they would just get paid off, if that makes sense. Okay, so somebody had asked me to explain the Snowball method, and so that's what I'm going to do now. So just for the sake of an example, I made up some numbers here, okay? Completely made up. But let's say you have 3 debts. Debt A has a $500 balance. Your interest rate on that is 15%, and your minimum payment is $20. For debt B, your balance is $2,000 with an interest rate of 30%, and your monthly minimum payment is $30. And then debt C has a balance of $5,000 with a 25% interest rate and a minimum payment of $40. So let's just say these are your 3 debts, okay? So if you're going to do the Snowball method, what that basically is paying off your smallest balance first, and then going to your next smallest and your next smallest, okay? So this goes by the amount, by your balances, okay? So if we're doing the Snowball method, I'm going to pay off debt A first, then debt B, and then debt C. So I'm paying off A first because it's my smallest balance. And what you're going to do is you're going to pay the minimum payments on all of your debts except for the debt that you're tackling first. So for example, I would pay $30 a month for debt B and $40 a month for debt C. And then debt A, I would pay my minimum payment, but I would also pay any extra money that I could get a hold of, okay, to try to pay off debt A as fast as possible. Once I pay off debt A, I'm going to then add my minimum payment into my next smallest debt. Okay, so once I start working on debt B, my minimum payment is $30, but I'm adding the $20 into it that I paid for debt A, and now I'm paying $50 a month. Okay, then if I pay off debt B, then I'm taking that $50, adding it into the $40 minimum payment for debt C, and I'm paying $90 a month. So it's the Snowball method. As you know, as you add snow to a snowball, you know, it gets bigger. That's what you're doing with your payments. And so you're making the payments as big as possible as you go and eliminate your debts so that you can pay off the larger debts faster. That's basically the point of the Snowball. Now, the big thing with the Snowball is, you know, after I pay, say, this debt A off and I don't have to pay that $20 anymore, I'm not going to spend that $20. I don't have $20 extra dollars just to spend and do whatever I want with. I have to make sure I add that to my minimum payment, okay? So you need to be consistent. You need to have some self-control and all of that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If you have questions about the Snowball method, of course, you can Google it. There's tons of YouTube videos, or you could just leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer your question as best I can. But that is the Snowball method. Now, the other, and this is what I'm doing, okay? The other method is the avalanche method, and the avalanche method goes by your interest rate. So the avalanche method is tackling the highest interest rate first, because in the long run, you're going to be saving more money, because the higher the interest rate, the more money you're paying in interest. Okay, so if I were doing the avalanche method, I would be doing debt B, then debt C, and then debt A. Okay, so my highest interest rate in this example is 30%. So I would pay the minimum payments on debt C and A, and then I would pay as much as I could on this first debt, debt B, until it's paid off. Once that's paid off, I would still add my minimum payment in to my next one, okay? And so that would be $70 a month. And then again, $70 I would be paying towards debt C, plus any extra money that I got my hands on until that's paid off. Then I would add that 70 into this 20, and then I'd be paying $90 a month. Okay, so you're still adding in your minimum payments, but you're just paying the debts off in a different order. That's the difference between the two. So I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, just let me know down below. But I'm doing the snowball method, and I am proof that it works, okay? Just with the balances that I paid off, and I paid these all off in 6 months, which again, super fast progress. Now, another thing I will say is the Dick's credit card and the Best Buy credit card had 0 interest because they were, offers. They had 0 interest for X amount of months. So that obviously helped. But still, if it was the old me, God, I'd be paying this off till who even knows, okay? So that's all gone. That is my progress, and I am just so stinking proud of it. There's one other thing that I want to say, and that is that in addition to this credit card, I have one other huge debt besides my student loans on my car. And that is a personal loan. And I've never really talked about it on the channel before. And to be 1,000% honest, it's just because I'm really embarrassed about it. I believe it was about a year ago now, I took out this personal loan to consolidate credit card debt. Go figure. Now, I have done this before, probably a couple times. And I would always rack the credit cards back up again. Okay, but not this time. So I took out a personal loan, as I said, about a year ago now, and I don't even want to say the amount because it just makes me want to puke, honestly. So I've never shared the amount because I hate even talking about it. I hate thinking about it. But the original loan amount I took out was $24,000. I had $24,000 in credit card debt, you guys. Like, just makes me sick. It really does. And don't forget, as I said, that's not the first time I took out a personal loan to pay off credit card debt. In fact, that's probably the second or third time I've done it. But the other couple times, I would pay it all off and rack it back up. Not this time. Okay, so as of right now, I'm at about $19,000. So while the number makes me sick, I'm starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel a little bit because I only have one credit card left, and then all of my extra money is going to go right towards this loan. Okay. My current snowball is $205. Once I get this done, it'll probably be around $305. And then, any extra money I could save with my debt sinking fund, my savings challenges, all of that. I want to get this friggin' loan paid off as soon as humanly possible. I believe I still have 4 years on it. I took like the longest term, and even with the longest term, my monthly payment is $454 a month. So much money, okay? And it just, like I said, it makes me sick, and it makes me really embarrassed that I racked up that amount of money on credit cards on probably the stupidest shit. It's just, I hate it. I hate that. But I'm a new person, right? And this is why I'm so grateful for this journey, because you guys, I can almost guarantee that if I had not discovered budgeting and cash envelopes and all of this stuff, I can almost guarantee that in addition to all of this, I'd be racking back up my other credit cards that I have the personal loan on that I paid off. I would just be in a terrible situation. Okay, so, you know, I have a lot of work to do, but I'm doing the work. And that's what matters. So, I'm going to say it again. This might sound annoying, and I'm really sorry, but if you have not tried this method and you're thinking about it, please just give it a try. Okay? I am proof that it works. All right, so I hope to do another video like this in another 6 months. At that point, I will be a year in, and it will be very exciting to see the progress that I've made. I'm really hoping to have a good chunk of this personal loan paid off by the end of the year. $19,000 is a lot of friggin' money, but we're just going to keep on rolling and see how much we can pay down towards that. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following me along on this journey. I'm super grateful to have all of you in my corner supporting me, and I'm out there supporting you all too on your journeys. I see you. This shit is hard. It's hard, okay? But we're gonna all do it together. All right. See you next time, friends. Bye.